industrial and retail content is hidden within. And so, we started doing this analysis. We said to the Southwest Business Detroit section, what's going on there? And we realized that these kinds of businesses are actually operating cash behind the walls. And we're saying, wait a second, there's a market that's going on here. And then we also realized, I mean, there are real storefronts here, but nobody's really selling to the marketplace right there. And there's something else that's going on. There's a retail gap. What?
It's also a cheap rental too, with the high prices.
Everything's cheap. You're right. But we realized something too that's going on. Small scale businesses, all this, and I'm kind of going through it, because then we understood something. There's a retail gap. Nobody looked at the retail gap. Excuse me. So I'm looking there on Monday morning with two of my other colleagues in Washington, D.C. We said, wait a second, beautiful old buildings, retail gap. You know what? Nobody, even though people don't earn any money, you gotta spend it somewhere. So buying power times population equals retail demand. You measure the supply by the actual retail sales, and the difference equals the unmet retail demand. So all you have to do is take actual incomes and even the cash economy and figure out where are all those dollars being spent.
This is going to sound kind of semi-ignorant, but it's going to make sense
All right.
to me and understand.
That's what it means.
Oh my God.
So, Amazon, do you know if, I mean, obviously Amazon delivers to Detroit, but I can't imagine people feel safe leaving their packages outside. So, in some neighborhoods. So I'm wondering if you're familiar with the online presence versus the retail, and if there's a differentiation on purchasing online versus the physical location.
And so that's a good question, and these online delivery services do deal with those security issues, but it hasn't made a difference in this location, but that's an issue that's dealt with everywhere.
So I was just wondering if there's a difference or a variation in or an increase in that physical retail location.
So what often happens is that, by the way, people get their packages delivered at their workplace or at other secure locations. I mean, so it shifts the demand, but it doesn't change the total buying power. Yes?
So you, basically what you did was you said, okay, so people here, households spend about they have about $35,000 to spend.
No. Their household income is $35,000.
Right, so say 20% of that.
So usually households will spend approximately 82% of their disposable income on retail goods and services. And we'll take the total number of the households, which was
Times
X,
that.
we'll multiply it. We're going to do that math right now.
Okay.
We're going to do that math and say, where's it going? So that's my next chart. And so we actually said, what is the total retail demand in this neighborhood? $352 million. And what is it in, and what kind of soft goods, hard goods, and what were the actual retail sales in the neighborhood? And we realized that $100 million of it was just simply going elsewhere.
So that underserved demand would be the quinceañeras dresses and the...
No, it's more than just that. So wait, there's production of all that. That's part of it. But guess what? So, you know what?
People are going somewhere else to buy
That's right,
groceries.
they're getting in their cars and they're going out of the neighborhood. They're driving 5 miles to the suburbs, to the Kmart, to the Target, to wherever it is, and buying and then coming back in.
Where did you get that info?
We got that information from Esri, from Dun & Bradstreet, from Demographics Now, and all those other sources. That's the beauty of all this data. Because no one before, I would have thought they would have done it. We just put the 2 and 2 together. And we had this aha moment. Because we said, wait a second, nobody did the fundamental research that good developers should do.
How many people in your group were,
How many what?
how many people in your group were taking a look at the data and coming up with answers and conclusions?
There were 2 of us who we said, oh, we have to do this.
Only 2 people?
Well, I mean, there were, 8 people were invited, 3 ULI staff, and that was our job.
Okay.
I mean, this is what I do. This past week, I went to Missouri. I had an assignment in Southwest Missouri for a client of mine, parachuted in. I spent 3 days. I did the same thing. I went, I analyzed, I got the data. It was like, figure out what will make that land that I'm looking at now be valuable and what kind of data. So here, I'm looking at all these different categories and I'm thinking, my goodness, the actual demand potential just for this part, not the total, just for simple goods and services, 125 million, we know the actual sales, you can measure it. Because this is data from real sources, Bureau of Labor Statistics and everything, 20 million, $100 million out of the neighborhood. So where is it going to? There it's going to. This is where we are located, right here. And it's going to all these shopping centers 5 miles outside of town. All right, if that's the case, what do we do with it? And then we said, wait a second, we're next door to Mexican Town. There's an actual neighborhood called Mexican Town, not Venezuela Town. All right, and this is a neighborhood that draws people into the city. So not only do we have a retail gap of goods and services, there's actually retail demand for restaurants, shows, nightclubs and stuff that's bringing people in. And so we could look at that model, and so that's a draw. And here, this draw exceeds local demand. So we have a gap on one side and an excess on another. So wait, don't we have the opportunity to build something that can capture the retail sales on both sides? Sure as heck we do. So we figured, why not figure out a way to build upon now the demand and the supply? And if we can do that, we can take the capture rate, the percentage of market retail demand, and as I said, you know, in a market environment, I want to have a capture rate that's in the single digits. Then if we can get that, we're successful. If we're in a retail desert, maybe I'll go up to 10%. What does that mean? Basically, I feel comfortable doing my market analysis within that range. So guess what? We know there's $100 million missing just in that one target segment. So if we do a capture rate between 5 and 10%, we could capture between $5 and $10 million of retail sales
A year, right?
on our site. What?
That's a year, right?
Per year.
Okay. Yes.
So that translates into real estate, right? So we did the math, then we interviewed over 100 people. Real estate people, government people, community people, everybody you can think of. And so when I interviewed the local real estate people, the strip mall developers, and all the other owners, I said, so what are your average sales per square foot for, you know, comparable retail shops and stuff? $200 a square foot. Well, that's easy. That means we could build, if we can capture that, between 26 and 53,000 square feet of space. If we can brand it right, if you can target the market right, there is demand out there for this square footage. Nobody looked at that before. This is how you build a case for building your real estate. Are you with me?
Oh, yeah.
People don't do this fundamental research, and then you can build the real estate. But I mean, you gotta support it. And so we did. And we did this for all the other groups too. So remember we talked about that entertainment and everything? That dining and food, we knew the demand coming in, 10 to 15. The local businesses, the quinceanera and the tortilla shops, 5 to 10. All of a sudden, we've got 40, you laugh, 40 to 80,000 square feet of opportunity. Now we've got something that you can take to capital, to debt and equity sources on those 7 acres. And you've got a plan. And so you measure it against the site. Now we're thinking about the developer and say, hey, I got 6.9 acres, 300,000 square feet. Now we have the architects in our group say, well, what can you build on that site? You got to do 4 spaces per 1,000. What's the usable space? 60,000 square feet. What do you know? Wait a second. Think about that. What was the plan there? 41 to 78,000 square feet, and our buildable is 60. We got a match, don't we?
You did all that in 3 days?
Pardon?
You did all that in 3 days?
Well, we did this part in about 1.5. Oh, you know, you get up at 7 a.m., I mean 6 a.m. or whatever, and you work till 11 or 12 at night.
With the interviews and everything.
Well, yes. I mean, so then you start developing the plan. And you get to the development strategy and say, all right, now we name it Werner Square. I mean, you've got 8, 9, 10 people really cramming on this. And we figured you got to capture the uniqueness of the community. Yes, it's an Hispanic idea. This is the joke, you know, retail gap. Okay, just a little play on words. Maximize the importance of the opportunity. And look at that. Take the site that's next to this, all these other things. Create value, partnerships, and just kind of skip through this kind of stuff. Figure out what do you do with all that residential next door. Come up with a development concept. And say, okay, so here's where we're located, there's downtown, here are all the other issues, what's in the neighborhood. We're literally in this site, key, central point, and we've got this empty old building. What's our model? So here's a property that was renovated in Nashville, Tennessee. They took an old industrial building and transformed it. Wait, we've got a building just like that, this old warehouse building, and if we can actually do something like that, and actually take it and make that the focal point of the neighborhood, we could end up doing the same thing. So we got the 6 acres, and we say, what do we do with it? We've got this industrial space, 35,000 square feet in the old building. We could do new construction, create an arcade. We've got plenty of land for the parking spaces. Maybe we can create that public square in front of it. We can put our development program of all the different parts together with it. And then we came up with a concept plan. It's not a design. Long story short, by the way, the Southwest Business Development Association has a lot of stuff going on. They're moving forward with this now. All right, but nobody thought of it. And by the way, we spoke with the governor. We did the whole thing in 5 days.
What,
And you did all that pro bono?
fee?
Pardon?
You did all that pro bono?
Well, yes,
Come
they,
on.
well,
No.
ULI was paid a fee by the city and the Southwest Business Development Association to come in. So it's part pro bono, but you know, that's what the ULI did. It comes into communities like this that have severe need, and you assemble this expert team, myself included, to come up with this. And it's basically the whole development deal gets done, and you figure out the program, and then you give it back to the community and hope they can run with it. Yeah.
What type of fee is incurred there for the city?
This was a 6-figure engagement, if you will. Low 6 figures, but I mean, this is, you know, this is for a private sector company like us. If we did this, you know, this is $1 million plus effort. If you do this over 6, 9, 12 months or whatever it is, I mean, this is compressed, to say the least. So let me get through this because in a few minutes we're going to have to go. But so we came up with this concept of really putting things together. We take the old industrial building, rip out the center, and put the arcade in. We got the food truck idea. Food trucks work everywhere, right? And, no, but seriously, yes. And figure out what to do, make this flexible, take this space here. By the way, you know, there was some new development just down the street with, I forget, it wasn't Starbucks, like with the Dunkin' Donuts or something. We knew that there was an opportunity. I mean, with the street walls, you create flexible spaces. Once again, these were concept drawing. Create movable pieces, establish development principles, and how you could make these spaces align with the main street, public transportation. There's a flea market next door. By the way, he said, oh, pay me, you know, some ridiculous number, $20 million, I'll go away. We said, no, but we'll align the development concept so that if and when the time comes to take control of that site, that there's an opportunity to develop further so that then this concept really works. You make sure public transportation syncs with it. You make sure that the city somehow now upgrades the infrastructure adjacent. You look at the street walls and the size of things that are going on. You, once again, make sure you're in sync with all those other things that are going on. I know you kind of smile and laugh, but this is how you, I mean, when I did my Rockville Center project up in Washington, D.C., it took me 5 years. 50 community groups, but how did we get 1.5 million square feet approved? You do it with every stakeholder group engaged. And that was the program we in effect did. And you come up with all these ideas of how to establish the different uses. You know, going through it, you take the corner there, and you actually look at eminent domain, you change it, you create a public space with a park, because all that fits into this. And yeah, we actually came up with ideas for furniture and whatever, and looked at this. And then we figured out implementation, you don't have to do that on this deal, right? And oh, by the way, we looked at partnership. We stayed away from the numbers. And I'll tell you why. Because the numbers didn't quite work yet. We did the math. And there's a deficit on this deal. Let's just do it real quick. How many? 60,000 square feet? The rents? I don't know. Let's do a pro forma. It's really easy. So if we get 60,000 square feet and
$8 a square foot.
how many dollars a square foot?
8.
No,
21,
Yes, right?
22.
I wish.
Less than that.
All right, so let's say it's
Triple than that, 50.
no, $12 a square foot. Okay, what do you come up with?
720.
All right, and so let's cap that at.
60,000 a month. Oh, sorry.
So what? Cap that at what? 10%?
7.2.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so maybe the rent's a little bit higher. And so what's the cost to build this kind of space?
That'd be 7.2.
Yeah, really no. The cost really is probably closer to 12 or $15 million, so we have a gap. And so there the issue was, how do you get the funding, private and public sector? And so we left that a little bit off to the side, because here the issue is, how do you put those pieces together? We knew what it was. And so, in fact, yes, we came up with a total project cost. The rents weren't quite going to make it here. But we knew that if you put this in place, you could spur tax ratables and investment throughout the area that would make it a win-win. And so all of this was important, so therefore the land and the contribution from the city had to be at no cost, essentially. You had to get grants and loans for fundamentally cleaning up what was a phase 1 or phase 2 environmentally messed up site, and ways to support the construction and the cost. And then we came up with a schedule of what it would take to get it built too, as well. So, you know, all this put together creates a unique opportunity and ultimately, you know, an end game. So, all right, so this is a development deal package.
That was a nice project.
It's a great project.
3 days, right?
No, 5 days.
5 days, all right.
5.5 days. Okay, but that's you know, a development deal, basically taking like what you're working on and compressing it into one. Yeah, turn on the lights.
When was this project implemented or started?
Say it again.
When was this
Well,
project?
it hasn't. There's
Well, the conceptual portion of the research, when was that done?
Well, this was all done in 2013.
Yeah.
And so now they're slowly moving forward. They've gotten title to the property and they're putting all those things.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a conceptualization of how to utilize that land or property, where it's just to provide the constituents of the area and the local government.
Yeah.
Here's our idea, based on what we're, on the given variables and data, this is what we think will go to the report. In terms of financing, yes, there's a gap, but since there are many financial institutions and government institutions, we created that ourselves, but this is what we believe probably is best use of the land, basically.
Yeah, me too. At night, it would be excellent.
It's a work in progress. So everybody sit for a second, please. So we're going to, does everybody know where Central Falls is located?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
No, I don't know.
Flamingo and north
Right.
of CD Smith.
So,
Pembroke?
but I just want to have a brief discussion. We're supposed to be there by about 10:30, and it takes about 15 minutes to get there.
That's it?
15 or 20 minutes to get there. How fast do you go?
It's raining.
The speed limit?
No, you don't. So I asked you to look up information and data about the property. I want you to tell me what you found out and what you think makes this an interesting or different project. I just want to have a brief discussion about this and why. Go. Ben. 1001. I will put that up online for everybody.
Not very
Yeah.
Dade County Streets and Avenue guy.
Here we go. And,
Very sure then make a right, Flamingo on the left.
and, it's funny, the address they actually have on their website is for the office building across the street. Don't make the mistake that my class did last semester and go to the office building, go to the sales center where Mr. Posen is actually waiting for us. And I mean, the best thing is actually to, here. So while it says 1806 North Flamingo, here, why don't I just send that? Let me just, here, where are we right now?
You can just send it to everyone.
Yeah, here, let's do this.
Yep.
So Ben, you were gonna tell us about this property.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, looking through their website and a little bit that I found on CoStar, I mean, you know, they sell you on their website, right, personalized, you know, luxury, kind of standardized to the needs of, you know, what most home buyers are looking for. So I thought it was an interesting approach, you know, to, instead of just doing cookie cutters, let me just make my money, let me just put it as cheap as I can, sell them as I can. They're trying to sell you that they're building, you know, higher quality, you know, higher efficiency, trying to really get that buyer. So I thought that was nice.
So did anybody figure out what their target market is?
Yeah, their target market is the working class professional, because they are, I believe they're in the 3 to 4, or
Right.
it is
And,
3 to, or
so
it might actually be
They're
3
going
to
to the
4
higher
and a
middle
half.
class.
So working class professional, that kind of sounds like an oxymoron.
Well,
Oh,
young,
middle class.
working class, young, maybe young professional, just got a
Young
good
up and
job.
coming professionals, these guys in here.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, working class to me would be like 300,000.
I think the target's more the middle class.
What planet is he from? Okay,
Construction, those guys don't make $300,000.
that's right, that's correct. That's right. But the key is not
Is
just
that not
simply,
working class?
but when I say demographics, what am I referring to?
I think by reading the
Household,
website, yeah,
household,
they're going to, you know, young professionals, I think, no,
Young
we're not saying that.
professionals.
Young professionals that are, you know, middle class, maybe a little higher,
All
higher
right,
middle class.
but I'm referring to household size,
Income.
Oh, they're actually
Oh.
larger household sizes.
household size, head of household age, okay? So that's important, and this is the kind of discussion we should have with him and see what his aim is, yes?
Guessing the number of bedrooms within these customized homes, there will be 5 bedrooms. So guessing 2+ families, households.
Well, that's
Meaning
right, so
income.
do we have intergenerational families too as well? I mean, so that's why I want you to see and look, because I think what he's done in his product, it'll be interesting to see how that matches and mixes with what it is that they're looking at. And so, yes, I know it says 1806 North Flamingo. In fact, you just got to go down Flamingo, enter into the complex here, and you'll see all of this right there. I'll send you the directions in just a minute. The other thing is to look at how many units they built and their construction type. And I thought Ben would be interested in this, but what do I know?
No, I am. I need to see it. Like,
Yeah, that's why I wanted, because there's nothing like actually seeing it. So I'm going to send him an email. Make sure we got it. Yes.
You said we're meeting this
There's no
Thursday.
action there.
So in fact, don't get fooled by the office building here. Go to the sales center,
Sales center.
which is right there. We've got the trailer on site. And we're going to meet in the sales office.
Oh, the
and we're going to
trailer.
go visit the house itself. So so I can make sure that no one gets lost. Who's going with whom in what cars? So I know that, are you like going together again?
I
Wait
gotta,
with this.
we gotta make a quick stop. I gotta drop my car off at Tire Kingdom.
And then I'm driving out.
And then he's gonna, so we're gonna make a quick 5-minute pit stop. But you said we're gonna be there by 10:30.
But I drive fast anyways.
All right, go, and I'll tell them we're.
My traction control's all messed up, so.
I'm sending you an address, and it should be like right next door to
Yeah, we
the
can get it together.
thing.
Well, that's fine.
Huh?
I'm telling my group that we.
Yeah, I don't want you to get lost this time.
No, but I'm telling my group that we seriously need to get together.
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
just have to be serious and get together. I think that's one and the same thing. Right?
Um,
I'm gonna go to the
let's do that.
Quiero
during-
preguntar, for working class.
All right, so I'm gonna send you this
Sí, por favor.
address, but it's like next door to everybody.
Pegado ahí, ¿no? So, guys.
Yeah, let me see.
Está buenísimo, 60. Todo bueno.
Es professional working, es professional class. Gente que te gana
Hecho, ¿no?
Sí.
Well, no sé exactamente si es middle class
Oh,
o
yeah.
upper middle class, pero no sé
Or middle
exactamente.
class.
Oh,
Upper middle class compra
I mean, I don't wanna.
¿Cómo?
Upper middle, ya $700.
¿Esto es renta o también venta?
That's real interesting. I don't know. It's usually
Yo me contigo.
closed sessions until they open it up at the hearing. To listen and see. And they have, they call them, locally they call them technical panels, and they do that every now and then, so you should go on the website to see when they have the panels, and you can listen, which is really helpful.
But I will be only listening to them.
I know, you generally can't